Hannibal Barca crossed the Alps with war elephants, marched into the heart of Roman territory, and destroyed the greatest army in the ancient world. He never lost a single major battle on Italian soil, and yet he still lost the war. That contradiction is the most important lesson he ever taught. By the end of this video, you will have 5 of his core tactics, lifted straight from the battlefield, and exactly how to use each one in your own life right now. If this kind of content is useful to you, tap the like button. Let's get into it. Lesson 1. Encirclement. At the Battle of Cannae in 216 BC, Hannibal faced a Roman army nearly twice the size of his own. Around 86,000 Romans against roughly 50,000 of his men. He did not retreat. He did not try to match them strength for strength. He did something nobody expected. He deliberately weakened his own center, let the Romans push through it, and then curled both flanks inward until the entire Roman army was surrounded on every side. The Romans were so tightly packed in the final phase, they could barely raise their arms to fight. 70,000 soldiers died in a single afternoon. It remains one of the most tactically efficient victories in military history, and is still taught at West Point and Sandhurst today. The lesson has nothing to do with armies. It is about controlling the environment before the contest even starts. Most people walk into a negotiation, a pitch, a job interview, or a competition, and react to whatever the other side does. Hannibal never reacted. He designed the conditions before a single soldier moved. Here is how you apply it. Before any high-stakes situation, ask yourself one question. What does the other side expect me to do? Then build your approach around subverting that expectation. The person who controls the frame of the conversation controls the outcome. Stop reacting. Start designing. Lesson 2. Commit fully or not at all. Hannibal did not cross the Alps because it was safe. He crossed because it was the last thing Rome expected. The journey took roughly 15 days through some of the most brutal terrain in Europe. He lost a third of his army. He lost most of his elephants. He arrived in Italy exhausted, depleted, and immediately won 3 consecutive battles against Roman forces who thought the mountains had finished him. The shock of arriving through an impassable route destroyed Roman confidence before the serious fighting even began. And that shock only worked because the commitment was total. There was no fallback plan, no alternative route kept in reserve. He went all in, and Rome had no answer for it. Half-committed moves do not produce that effect. They signal to everyone watching that you are testing the water, not serious about the outcome. Whatever you are building or pursuing right now, ask yourself honestly, are you actually committed or are you hedging? Hedging has its place early, but at some point the decision has to be made and the bridges have to burn. Hannibal made that decision at the foot of the Alps. Everything that followed was a consequence of that one choice. Subscribe. New video every week. Lesson 3. Use your enemy's strength against them. Rome's greatest military asset was the legion. Tight formation, disciplined, devastating in a direct frontal engagement. Every general who tried to beat Rome head-on lost. Hannibal studied this and understood something crucial. The legion's strength was also its weakness. It needed room to function. Pack it too tightly, and the soldiers could not swing a sword. So at Cannae, he engineered exactly that. He drew them forward, collapsed around them, and turned Rome's most powerful weapon into a liability. The very discipline that made the legion unstoppable in open ground made it a death trap when surrounded. This is one of the most transferable ideas in this entire video. In any competitive situation, your opponent's greatest strength has a shadow side. The company that is large and established is also slow to move. The competitor who is aggressive and loud is also predictable. The person who dominates every room is also the one nobody brings real information to. Find the shadow side of whatever you are up against. Then work there. That is where Hannibal always found his opening. Lesson 4. Think 3 moves ahead. Hannibal spent years in Italy winning every engagement he fought. Trebia, Lake Trasimena, Cannae. He never lost a major battle on Italian soil, and he still lost the war. He had no plan for what came after Cannae. He assumed Rome would sue for peace. They did not. Rome kept recruiting, kept refusing to meet him in open battle, and kept the war grinding. And while Hannibal waited in the south of Italy, expecting negotiations that never came, Rome sent Scipio Africanus directly to North Africa. He threatened Carthage itself. Hannibal was recalled home, met Scipio at Zama, and lost the one battle that ended everything. He won every tactical engagement and lost the strategic campaign because he had not thought far enough ahead. The application is simple and uncomfortable. Winning the immediate contest is not the goal. Before you make a major move, a deal, a career decision, a business pivot, ask yourself what winning this actually sets you up for 3 years from now. Does it give you more options or fewer? More leverage or less? Hannibal was the greatest battlefield mind who ever lived. He forgot to ask that question at the level that mattered. Do not make the same mistake. Lesson 5. Accept losses to preserve the army. After Cannae, Hannibal had Rome at his mercy. His generals urged him to march on the city immediately. His cavalry commander Hannibal reportedly told him, "You know how to win a victory, Hannibal, but not how to use one." Hannibal held back. Historians still argue about why. But the underlying principle he operated on throughout the Italian campaign was sound, even if he did not apply it here. He consistently chose to preserve his army over maximizing any single victory. He avoided sieges that would bleed his numbers. He kept his force mobile and intact. Because he understood that the army was the asset, not the ground he stood on. The modern version of this is knowing when not to push, when not to overextend after a win, when to bank the result, protect your resources, and live to fight the next round. Burning yourself out chasing a total victory often costs you more than a measured win would have gained. Hannibal knew this better than anyone. The tragedy is that at the moment it mattered most, he forgot it. 5 tactics. 1 general. One of the most remarkable military minds in human history, and a strategic failure that ended a civilization's power. The gap between Hannibal's tactical brilliance and his strategic blind spot is the whole lesson. Being exceptional at the thing in front of you is not enough. You also have to know what the thing in front of you is actually for. Which of these 5 hits closest to where you are right now? Leave it in the comments.